Hi guys. All right, I'm back for another pregnancy update. I am in my second trimester, and the last time we spoke, I was at the beginning part of my first trimester at 7 weeks, if I remember correctly. And I've been making notes throughout this entire time, and now I'm 21 weeks pregnant, so we have a lot to go over that I want to fill you in on. But first, before I get into second trimester, I wanted to go over a few things from the first trimester that I didn't touch on in the last video because I filmed it at 7 weeks. So it was literally right before a lot of the symptoms started happening. So I just wanted to touch base on that and then jump into the second trimester details, how I've been feeling and everything. Okay, so for the first trimester, I think I touched on a little bit of this stuff, but from 7 to 10 weeks, the nausea and everything got significantly worse. So literally like right after I shot that video, it was like nonstop until I was like closer to 11 weeks. No vomiting or anything. It was just nausea, and like I was lethargic and had no appetite. Anything I'd want to eat or that I felt like would like calm my stomach was all carbs. And I think that was the biggest thing because I don't think I mentioned too much into nausea because it was literally just beginning when I filmed. The bloat was crazy, which I do remember mentioning the bloat, but it got significantly worse, and it was just like for such a long period of time. And then also the constipation was completely insane. I ended up taking some medicine to kind of help that a little bit, and I still felt like between like maybe 8 through 10, like weeks 8 through 10, I still was not working very well, but I still ended up taking it, and it eventually ended up kicking in. So in the long run, that it ended up being good to go. But those were two other big things that affected me. And then right around like 11 weeks, I slowly started to feel a little bit more normal. I didn't have a whole lot of energy. I still couldn't like work out. But the nausea slowed. I still didn't have a huge appetite, but I expanded my palate a little bit more. So that was good. And then it just kind of progressed as I went on. So then like as I got to week 12, it got like a little bit better and I could eat like a little bit more. Still didn't really have a whole lot of energy. I felt I did have more than I did at like the 10-week period, but not enough that was sustainable to like start working out and start my normal routine again. I also still had like severe brain fog, pregnancy brain, whatever you want to call it. So I had that. And what else? So then right around like that 14-week period, I felt 100% back to normal. So like right before I got into the second trimester, that final week of the first trimester, I felt great, and I just started to work out. I took it easy. I think I only worked out like 2 times that week, but I felt fine after, and like I could do other things throughout the week, which I felt indicated that my energy levels were coming back and things were kind of returning to normal. And then once I hit the 15-week mark when I was in the second trimester, it was completely normal. So I was working out like 5 or 6 times a day, doing normal house things, doing my work. Just kind of like running around town, running errands, doing walks, like different things like that. And everything, I felt totally normal, and I was able to stay up all day, no naps, nothing. It felt great. Okay, so in the second trimester, I started to notice that I had a lot more itchy skin. It started a little bit in the first trimester and I had kind of like waves of it. And I started using this lotion, which I'll put the info for the lotion, which I highly recommend, in the notes section. And I have a 15% off discount code, so I'll put that in there as well. But basically, like when I would have itchy stretches, it was because I wasn't using lotion, or like I forgot it if I was like traveling or something. But once I started using it consistently every single day, like the itching stopped, which was amazing because it was like constantly, like I was itching my belly. So that picked up a lot more in the second trimester, was the itching. And then leg cramping, I noticed, picked up a lot more in the second trimester. And I feel like it was worse at the beginning of the second trimester. And that could be because I was so lethargic and not having any movement or anything in my days for like those weeks of 9 through like 11. So I ended up taking, in addition to my prenatal, which has magnesium in it, I ended up taking an additional magnesium supplement at night, and that was very helpful. So I did that, made sure to drink a lot of water, and then also started taking Epsom salt baths like twice a week or so. And all of that combined kind of like nipped that in the bud, and I didn't end up having a whole lot of cramping. It would happen occasionally, like if I was super, super active and constantly on my feet, I would notice the cramping a little bit more. But if I did all those other things and kind of elevated my legs when I could, I was fine. And then, let's see. I started having a little bit of issues sleeping around week 16. I noticed that I kept getting up, and it was like around the similar time frame, like every night. So I ended up getting a pregnancy pillow. I do feel like that helped, giving me some support, and I think it really helped like in between my legs. So I definitely recommend that. I was going to try and bypass that so that I didn't have to get a pregnancy pillow, because I don't want to get all these extra things if I don't actually need it. But everyone recommended it, so I kind of held off until week 16. Then I ended up getting it. And I do feel like still today, I do feel like I sleep better at night. Not in relation to the pillow, but now he moves a lot, so that will keep me up or wake me up. But all in all, great for the pregnancy pillow. And what? Oh, cravings. Okay, so I think I touched on this a little bit in the first trimester, that before the nausea started happening, I had like a few things that I wanted, but again, I think it was more so in relation to because I was getting more nauseous, so my body wanted comforting food to kind of calm the nausea. But now in the second trimester, when I was going into the second trimester, and still today, through all these weeks, it's basically stayed the same. So I've craved oranges and eggs have been my two primary things, and like a little bit of candy here and there, which is odd because I'm not really a candy person. I do like sweets, but not really candy. But though that isn't like as consistent, but like every day I'll crave eggs and oranges, and I'm eating that constantly. Like I think the baby's gonna come out like half orange. I'm pretty sure of that. So those two things, and the eggs was super weird because I have been vegan and I hadn't eaten eggs in like 4 or 5 years, but you know, it just is what it is. Like I'm not planning on eating a steak, but I'll eat eggs for the pregnancy. Maybe my body needs something from the eggs. Totally fine. We'll see how it is after the pregnancy, but right now I'm loving it and it is satisfying my cravings. All right, and then around 18, weeks is the first time I felt him move, which I think is a little bit early based on information that I was reading and from what my doctors were saying. But I felt him at 18 weeks. It was like pretty light, but I could tell that it was definitely a baby movement. And then at week 19, it definitely got stronger because I could tell that it was stronger. And so I had Rory also try to feel, and he legitimately could feel it. So I knew that the baby was getting stronger. And then once we hit week 20, I mean, he has been nonstop moving. So that has been an interesting journey. And I think he is starting to realize when I eat, because he'll start moving a lot or kicking me close to when I have like my feeding times throughout the day. So like right before breakfast or right before lunch or right before dinner. And it's like, he like knows when I usually eat and is like reminding me, make sure you feed me. And then if he likes the meal, I'm noticing he'll move constantly while I'm eating and like shortly after. And so I feel like that's an indication that like it was a good meal, which I think is so funny. All right. And then another thing I've been having issues with was right around like week 17, 18 was when a lot of my leggings like that I'm wearing now stopped fitting me. So all my normal pre-pregnancy leggings stopped fitting me. And it's like I could wear them. They were just extremely uncomfortable and I had to like roll them down. So right around that 17, 18 week period, I needed to start purchasing leggings. So I purchased like a few different types from a few different brands to try them out. And I think I'm going to do another video on which ones I got, how they fit, pros and cons, and all the things. Because I feel like that's like a really big question for a lot of first-time moms trying to find pants that fit and, you know, what those pants, like the pros of those pants and all the things. So I think I'm going to do another video on that, but I did find good leggings to wear. All right. And ligament pain and indigestion. Those are the last two things that I have on my list. So ligament pain. I had it in the first trimester, but I feel like I've had it more in the second trimester, and it kind of just comes and goes. Like I think I had it more so around like that 15 to 16 week mark, and then again at the 20 week, like 19, 20 week mark. So I wonder if those are like bigger growth spurts, because that is when I felt the majority of the ligament pain, which is like pretty low down here. So that, and then also the indigestion. So I feel like I hear a lot of people will have like heartburn, indigestion. I've not had any heartburn, but I have had indigestion. So I've noticed that having smaller meals and eating them slower, so as in like I'm eating a smaller meal and possibly stopping like halfway through, taking a break, and then eating a little bit more helps with the indigestion. It also helps if I eat and then I'm sitting up for like an hour after I eat. So I don't have like a lot of that indigestion and like gurgling and stuff. So for me, that has been really helpful. And obviously a lot of water and different things as well helps out. But yeah, I think those are all the things that I have on my list for second trimester updates. I feel like I have a lot more, but I mean, the second trimester has been glorious so far. So it lives up to the hype of everybody saying that it's wonderful. I am taking full advantage of it because who knows when I'm not going to feel good or I'm going to feel uncomfortable. But yeah. Oh, actually, one other thing. I noticed that my low back has started to hurt a little bit more, be a little bit more like tender or fragile. So after every single workout, I always do like 7 to 10 minutes of stretching. That seems to be extremely helpful. And then on days where it seems to be a little bit more testy or overly sore, I'll do a second set of stretches later. And in between there, just kind of depending on the day, I really will just like, if I'm sitting at my computer working, I'll really just try to like do some kind of like really great posture and a light stretching or like reaching over. And I feel like that kind of like helps stretch the muscles a little bit. And I would say the biggest help for the stretches has been like the cat and cow exercises for yoga that you often do. I would say that has probably been the best one. But yeah, I think that's everything for the second trimester. If you're headed into the second trimester, get excited, because I feel like, at least for me, everything kind of went back to normal, and I could have like a normal life, exercise when I wanted, eat what I wanted. I have a full appetite. Baby moves, so you get to kind of feel them. He is super active. I feel like this kid works out 24 hours a day. But yeah, and I will do another update maybe like the end of the second trimester to see if there's like any changes going into the third trimester. And then I'm gonna do the legging one. And then I also on Instagram, which I'll share my Instagram in the notes, is I've been sharing what I've been feeding the baby, because I thought that would be kind of fun to look back on and see what I ate most during the first pregnancy. So yeah, I've been sharing a lot of that and a lot of updates and photos and everything on my Instagram. I'll see you next time. Bye.